AI is fixing one of the most ignorant problems modern society ever created, and no one's talking about it. Everyone put overwork onto a pedestal, and how many hours they work at their job, how many hours they grind, how late they can stay up at night, or some rubbish trot. Even I got stuck into that trap, right? It's like I went to a job, I spent 6 months, remote job, but I went 2 weeks as well. But I even ran my business on the side. But one thing I realized is what changed everything, right? With the business and with the job. And I'd say with the business model that I run, the solo operator, I made more than 30 lakh remotely. And it's on an average 4 hours of work a day. And right now it's down to 1 hour of work a day. But no office, no manager, no attendance register. I did a $5,500 or a 5 lakh rupee AI RAG system, and I built it in few hours of actual work. Most of my time I spent was lying down on my sofa, recovering from oral surgery, and I connected my Claude code to my MacBook's Claude remote control code, and I was freaking doing the stuff from there. And the real shift isn't just about making money from home. A modern AI operator is the mix of the solo operator and the AI systems. I've been running the solo operator from 3 years with content systems across clients, but right now you take AI as well. You build offers and you take offers into distribution and you make that into your income. And this model is going to make the traditional job look like a horse and buggy in the age of a Tesla or a Lamborghini is what the solo operator is. Most people have no idea it's happening, by the way. And in the next 2 minutes, I'm going to break down exactly how this model works, the real numbers. I'll go into the intricacies of the margins this model has made me, and why rest, right? Taking rest is actually important. It's the most productive thing you can ever do in business. This is the same model that let me generate more than 500,000 views on my Instagram last month and even close multiple clients and across these 3 years that I've worked in it, and even upsell those clients into new services like the AI system I built. It's a RAG project. Like, these are the chatbots that you build. They go for 15 to 40 lakhs in the market, but I sold it for 5 lakhs. But I'm building it solo, and the operation cost is just 11,000 rupees for Claude Max a month, right? I just paid the second month today with Claude Max. I've been using the $20 plan, but I'm not saying this from some guru mountaintop, by the way. I come from a family that runs a dental laboratory business. So I've watched how margins work, right? In my entire life. I have also dropped out of engineering college twice, and I'm building everything with AI. And this AI didn't exist 2 years back, or actually even it didn't exist a few months back. Right? Cloud Code is fairly new. I mean, a bit of a yearish. So this is in theory though. This is my living operating system. It is something that is very fresh, something that is very new, and let's get into it, right? So it's what nobody tells you about a job, firstly, because whoever watches is probably coming from a job, and it's the certainty it gives you is just that number, right? It's just the salary, and that number compared to what you actually produce, stupid, right? I know it because I lived in that model. I was working the remote job. I was making 1 lakh rupees a month from that job. I worked for 6 months. I liked it. For 3 to 6 months, I even upskilled myself. And that's what I look at a job at, right? It's like a training program you do just in order to get good. But then at a point, it gets saturated. You're not learning that much. And the freaking delivery, right? You're delivering projects worth crores in market. But you're making just a lakh a month. And even if you ask for a raise, that's like every once a year. And you're overworking yourself because you're doing like multiple projects at one time. You produce enormous value and capture none of it into your bank account, right? All they can do is maybe take you out for breakfast, and that too you split pay on. But the worst part isn't even money. It's your time. You sit for 10 hours at the office desk, sometimes 12 hours and sometimes 15 hours. And in a remote jobs, some days you're doing like just 2 to 3 hours. Like that was the worst part for me. Is like you're doing 2 to 3 hours of real work and spending the rest of time in dread. Yeah, you're just staring at your laptop. They gave me a good one, a MacBook M4 Air. But you're just staring at the screen, and it's like it reminded me of the attendance register at college that I don't know what's next. I hated that. Like even though college was easy for me, I was good at studying. Was online. But what is the upside on college? Once a year, or a job, college will look into that, but a job, like you'll get a shot for a raise once in a year, 5%, maybe 10. I got 20, but it's barely a difference. And that's if you're lucky. That's when you produce like so much of value. That's what I did over the 6 months. And that's the ceiling, right? It's capped. Meanwhile, AI is cutting the floor beneath you. Like 30,000 jobs at Oracle were gone, 4,000 at Block, Jack Dorsey's company. The security you thought you had was not real because where is the security? People are getting fired left, right, center. But there's another side to this, right? A side I grew up watching, even though I didn't fully understand it until I started operating myself in this way. And now that AI is coming, it makes a lot more sense, right? My father runs a dental laboratory business, And what this is essentially is the layer before a dentist. That is how you make the product and then the dentist puts it in the mouth of the patient. So he takes raw material, barely 50 to 100 rupees or a few hundred rupees of material, and he converts that with his hands, right? It's like artisan work, and it's very simple stuff. And then of course, he has his skills, years of craft, and he makes a finished dental product into it, probably like a tooth or something. He charges 5 to 10 times or maybe even more than that to the dentist. It's like 500 rupees, he charges for 5,000 or 10,000 to the dentist, sometimes more. And here's the thing, he's not even selling to patients, he's selling to the dentist. The dentist is the client to our business. And when the dentist put the product in the patient's mouth, they charge another 5 to 10x. So like 5 lakh, 10, sometimes even 5 to 10 lakhs, but of course, 1 lakh to 2 lakh, like barely takes any time to put this stuff together. So you go from 50 rupees to potentially a lakh or 10 lakhs of something that goes into the finished product. Now that's not a scam. That's business. Every layer adds value. You need to understand that artisanship, convenience, trust, expertise, every layer, right? It doesn't need to be how many hours the dentist took, how many hours my father took. It's just that layer of value that captures extra margin. But the difference is the cost is very cheap, right? Even if my father hires a few people, they're paying them very less amount of money. And I grew up watching this, and for a long time I thought it was unfair. But then I started operating in that same way. Except my raw material isn't exploited that model, but trying to stay far from it. For me, but the raw material now is AI. You can exploit AI. The margins, like, they'll make the traditional business model margins look conservative, right? Even though the dental lab and dentist models are very highly margin profitable. AI, 11,000 rupees of Cloud Max. This is where the modern AI operator starts to win, because one tool stack can suddenly behave like a small team. My main tool, Cloud Max, it costs me only 11,000 rupees a month. But then I'm making money from this, right? I built a 5 lakh rupee project this month with that 11,000 subscription. And that's a 50x profit margin. 50x. And now the best part is, that's not the only thing I do with Cloud Max, right? I'm building software with it. I'm building tools with it. Like I used to pay 4.5k for Instantly. I'm building coldflowagent.com. Like go to coldflowagent.com and just check that out. Like that replaces Instantly. I can do my outreach for free with my own tool. I'm making my own content. 500,000 views on Instagram last month. And so many DMs, right? That could turn out into a business of itself. So we all know these, right? The small amount of money isn't just a business expense. It is a fucking workforce. It is labor. And unlike a workforce, it doesn't need to sleep, it doesn't need managing, and it doesn't even quit. It doesn't get angry. It just listens to what you tell it to do. Now compare that to a job wherein I would make a lakh a month and produce crores of value to the company, right? With someone else. Last month I closed the RAG project I told you about, right? It does the chatbot stuff, there are vector databases and all that. I got my upfront deposit. Now we go into the next phase of this video. I made 3.2 lakhs upfront for just the pre-sale. Like there's two splits, right? 3.2 lakhs and also the 2 lakhs which I get after delivery. So that's about 5 lakhs. But I went through oral surgery. I removed my wisdom tooth and I went really bad, right? A lot of medications. My gut got bad, painkillers. I couldn't work. I was wrecked for 2 weeks. That's exactly when the project started. So I was laying on my sofa in the hall and I was barely functional. I was like, I thought I'll be able to work, but I can't. But you know what happened? Nothing bad happened in terms of the project. The clients, first of all, didn't book me. That's the best part, when you run the modern AI operator, you choose your clients. And in business, it's just this thing. A headache client can be avoided. You work with who you want to work. So the project didn't fall apart. I got back. I even told the client I'll need some rest. And I recovered. It took me a few hours to get to like 80-90%. And I started the project. And I did massive chunks of work in just like 2 to 3 hours, actually 1.5, 2 hours on 1 week, like one day. And the project was up and running. The client could see it. He was like, literally, dude, this is good. And that's when it hit me. The reason we think we need to work 12 hours is because we've been trained to, measure productivity by time, not by outcomes. But in the modern AI operator model, in the business model, right? The outcome is what matters. The output is what, the hours don't matter. The outcome doesn't require you to destroy yourself. This is indoctrination, right? Present there. But in the operator model, the system carries everything. And now that this tech is coming, it's so fresh, it's so new, it fucking changes everything. This is how weightlifting works also, right? So I also emphasize on rest is because you break muscle and you rest to make muscle, right? You don't keep breaking your muscle. You need to put protein into it. You need to spend some time in recovery. It's similarly how business works, how humans work, right? Commerce is the basis of nature, not competition. You rest, you let your ideas marinate, you let your mind process all the problems in the background. That's when you come up with better solutions. And even I've seen it in the family businesses, there's not always work, right? Of course, when I've ran business, not like I made monthly income. It's like there are months where you don't make money. You spend time with your family, with yourself, and that matters because at the end of the day, you were born alone, and at the end of the day, you will die alone. No matter you get, I don't know, like an orgy of a relationship with people, but you will still die alone. So you need to spend time with yourself. So solace and solitude is what builds you, right? And that isn't a waste of time. It's the whole point. So here's the model I operate in, and what I believe is the future for anyone willing to see it. The modern AI operator, like the mix of the solo operator and AI, right? And it's not also about just sitting in Cloud Code and locking in for 10 hours. No, it's like getting a freaking like marketing. He's not the best implementer. I'll be honest, I'm not the best implementer. Like I'll show you the case studies of work I've done. It's never been like professional. It's always been mediocre work. But I am the person like the modern AI operator is the person who knows how to sell. He knows how to position. He knows how to use AI or whatever technology, labor, and deliver stuff fast. And build that entire perception of convenience to the client, right? To the person who is working with. So it's less implementation, more positioning. Trust is the moat in this case. Like you look at my Instagram, I have more than 500,000 views last month. My YouTube also has like 40 to 50,000 views. So that's what it is, right? People DMing me. Like I know that the real value is in doing different things. And of course, in the modern era, with how inflation is going and how jobs aren't catching up, you need to have multiple incomes. You need to build authority. You need to have like distribution. Like I have cold emails going out, people reaching out to me from my content, people seeing different offers that I built for them on the go, and they want to work with me not because I've shown them some fancy portfolio, like how these people send these After Effects portfolio, and I've got myself be like, yaar, iska portfolio is so good, his resume is so good, but that doesn't matter. That is the last thing anyone will see. They want trust. They want convenience. They want that authority. That entire perception is what the era of implementation is ending in a few years. Probably it's already dead. People will look back and say like, in the future, they'll be like, remember when someone was valued by their After Effects ka timeline? Look at Seedance 2. Look at Kling 3. Like they are killing these VFX artists and all that. Even for coders, engineers. I was supposed to be an engineer, designer, the front end guy, back end guy. That era is closed, but I still get to work because I am a business guy, right? I never identified with the implementation. I identified with the outcome, with the wrapper around it. Like people talk shit about wrappers, but that's what sells, right? The operators who can curate, who can build trust, who can market, who lead with authority and convenience, who over deliver on outcomes and not on hours logged. Because in the future, AI is not going to be fucking bothered about hours in businesses, which is the model. Like that's what happens. Trade. That's not going to be logged on hours. It's going to be logged on kitna paisa, how much money you made, how much convenience you made, how much outcomes you brought. And why do people work with me? It's not because I write the best code or build the prettiest website. It's because of the years of trust I have built, the years of delivery I have done. It's relationships that matter, right? And then it's also like building content, assets, written work, even writing is content, emails are content. So they've experienced my process, right? They have a look into my head and they've seen like the results of that. And I use AI openly. I even tell my clients I'm going to use AI for this, that, and they love it. They're like, because millionaires and business owners don't care whether you use Claude Code or you wrote the code by hand. They care about the outcome, right? At the end of the day, they care about the outcome. And I even packaged it. I told my clients, see, I can, charge you like $10,000-$20,000 for this, or I can, do like a $5,000 a month, $3,000 a month retainer for an entire year. You pay me. And he's like, yeah, this sounds a bit better. So they care about convenience. They care about predictability. They care if it works. Curation wins the modern era. Perfect outcomes, perfect deliverables, After Effects template, timeline, coding, like that's dying. Unless I've always seen both the sides. The people in jobs, right? It's always them complaining, right? About their managers, they're dreading Monday, the countdown to Friday. And the people on the other side, right? People who run like businesses like my father or my uncle even. Like I've seen, like they don't complain as much about money and they always have enough money because solo operators like myself are grateful, right? Even though AI, many are not yet using AI, like they could be my clients, but it's always consistent. I mean, it's not always consistent, but it's free. It's built on freedom. In 3 years, a solo operator, like as me, my monthly average has netted out to be around 1.2 to 1.3 lakhs from this model, okay? Now, some months I've made 5 lakhs, some months I've made 30,000, some months I've made 0. But it all averages out, right? And here's what matters, I'm not working a lot. There are months where I barely work, and that's how it worked in the past. Like jobs are barely 200 or 300 years old. People used to work a certain amount of time. So Claude Max is something I love. It's like, it helps me fastly implement everything. And because of that, you can be a better operator. You can move faster. If you're running this model, probably your office won't allow it. But as an operator, from day one, when this technology came out, I was implementing it. And people are calling me like, Aiden is an AI, obsessed guy. Meanwhile, the job system, you do, Aiden's your teachers, your friends, who are not your friends, probably your enemies. The way they tell you stuff, like do your 10 standard, then life will be sorted. Do your 12 standard, then life will be sorted. Do engineering, then life will be sorted. Do medical, then life will be sorted. Do job, then life will be sorted. Get married, then life will be... Like, there is no end. the goalposts keep moving ahead and ahead because the system was never designed to sort your life. It was designed to keep you complaining and running someone else's system. That's the hat that got you fooled. The only real security in the modern era is taking a risk. Because even if you don't take a risk, like look at the other side, it's anyways penalizing you, right? You're scared about losing your job. You're stuck in front of your system. You have to deal with managers you don't like. And AI is, catching up at a rapid pace, so you can get kicked out anytime, right? It's replacing roles. Companies are cutting thousands of people. The floor is disappearing beneath the safe plane. The safe path doesn't exist. The only risk is not taking a risk. So here's what you do. And here's what you need to understand. You were not born to sit in a cubicle chair or even online on your system for 12 hours a day doing tasks that AI can now do in minutes. You are not born to beg for a 10% raise once a year while producing crores of value for someone else's company. You are not born to follow the indoctrination path that your parents followed because their parents followed it before them. You were born to operate, to build, to rest when your body needs it, to create when your mind is ready, to spend time with the people who matter to you the most, because it's the only path that leads to somewhere real, somewhere fulfilling. And other tools exist, right? This Claude Max thing, you're not competing with your colleagues, you're competing with the company founding them, owning them, or like hiring them. So the model exists, the proof exists. I am living embodiment of it. The only thing missing is your decision, right? Everything I've decided, exact breakdown of all of this into a document. The offer logic, the AI stack, the margins, the math, the operator model behind it, and how I've been running all of this for the last 3 years, even before Claude existed, or any of these LLMs. Like only ChatGPT existed, of course, that helped me a lot. But there's a specific framework inside the document that breaks down how I structure my months, the big months, the small months, how I structure the deals, right? And how it all averages into a certain number that gives you some freedom over any salary, and how you maintain your hours. So what you can do to get that document is follow me on Instagram @Aiden_Gomes. Okay, this is the account. I'll put it somewhere on the screen. DM me the word document. I'll send it to you personally. No gatekeeping. This is the exact operating system that I run in my own life, and I will keep running in my own life. And it might be valuable to you as well. It might change your life as well. So comment that word and let